Hello everyone, welcome to the TeQSpoc. Myself, Manoj Kumar, Java trainer, 5+ years of IT experience. So in this session, we will talk about what is a typecasting and how to create an inner class. Inner class means you can also call as nested class. So class inside another class is inner class. And typecasting is, we know there are different types of data type. Okay, byte, short, int, long, float, double, character, boolean, string, and okay. Converting one data type to another data type is called basically typecasting. I mean, converting like converting byte to integer into float, character to boolean. These are basically called a typecasting. Means now moving to what is typecasting? Basically, typecasting is Java process of converting a one data type into another data type. Means converting a variable of one data type into another data type is called typecasting. Okay. So basically, if you have basically variable of int type int and you want to convert to type double, so that is basically called a typecasting. So there are two types of typecasting: variable typecasting and class typecasting. So variable typecasting, inside variable casting there are two subdivisions, that is auto upcasting and explicit downcasting, that come under variable typecasting. Similarly, class typecasting, we have class upcasting and class downcasting. So we will talk one by one about each and every types of typecasting basically. So that is what is a variable typecasting. In variable typecasting, we convert a particular data. Oh, sorry. What is basically here we convert a particular data type into required data type. That is basically a variable typecasting. So what is auto upcasting? Auto upcasting means converting a smaller data type to a bigger data type is called as a auto upcasting. Smaller data type means int. Okay, it is of 4 byte and long. Byte, short, int, long. Int is of 4 byte, long is of 8 byte. Float is of 4 byte, double is of 8 byte. Similarly, int is of basically 4 byte, and we are converting into long, which is of 8 byte. Means you are typecasting to a bigger data type. Okay, so that is basically called a auto upcasting. Means converting a smaller data type, means int is of 4 type, converting to bigger data type, which is long, which is actually of 8 bytes. That is called auto upcasting. During the auto upcasting, data loss should not happen. Okay, this is basic example of auto upcasting. Similarly, we have uh, explicit downcasting. And explicit downcasting, here we convert a bigger data type, that is like long is of 8 byte, convert into the int of 4 byte, means a bigger data type into smaller data type. Then it is called as a explicit downcasting. And during explicit downcasting, the data lost will be happen. Okay, explicit downcasting, data loss will happen. Okay, so let me show you. Go to the some our this is a class A. No, this is class A. Okay. Now remove this one. And I will also remove the final. Okay, and remove this. Now this is a proper one class. Okay. So what I want to tell you that public class A create main method first, then int x equal to 10. Okay, this int is a integer which is basically of 4 bytes. Similarly, now I want to convert this integer into a long value, which is a long is generally of 8 bytes. Means we are converting a smaller data type into bigger, so into long y equal to x. Means we are storing the value of x in y, or y is of long data type, and basically it is 8 bytes. Okay, and now you will shout system.out.put and print y. We will get the value at expected. Now we have changed the data type in this way. Now similarly, we can also give you one more example here. Like float to double. Float is of floating point number is 4 byte, and converted into double. Double is of 8 byte. Okay, float and double both are floating point numbers. So what I will do, remove this. I am showing you, maybe sometime you will get a answer. You interview asks, give you some small problem and ask you what is this, what is that. So you will basically understand and tell FLOAT float F equal to 10.3 F. For floating point of capital F, for small f we have to mention. This is float is basically a 4 byte. So let me enter. This is 4 B by TES. This thing you have to remember which is of which byte. Okay, so that double that is D. I want to change floating point number into D. Okay, now this in this way we have changed. Double is basically of 8 byte. Here. Now here we are changing from a smaller data type into bigger data type. Okay, that is called upcasting. Okay. Auto upcasting. I want to bring the in this way. This is a auto upcasting. Okay. Now one more example. Float. Float is of 4 byte. Long D equal to F. Long D equal to F. Basically, what will happen in below program, because there is a data loss of 0.3%. Basically, float is a floating point number 10.3. When it will change into a long, then it will be basically print in the form 10. The point will be removed. So there is a loss of zero point 0.3. Okay. There is a loss of 0.3. Okay. So this is not auto upcasting. Okay. Understand? This type of question also asked from your interviewer who confuse you beta, to confuse you. Here that now we will see explicit downcasting. So what is explicit downcasting? Remove this. In explicit downcasting, we convert a bigger data type into a smaller data type, and during explicit downcasting, the data loss will happen. So like long x equal to 10. Okay, long x equal to 10, which is generally long is of 8 byte basically. 8 by TES, and we will converting into an integer value y. Okay, and then we have to typecast into the int. This is the way of typecasting something int x. We are typecasting into int x, and basically here it is a 4 byte. 4. Here we are what we are doing. Bigger data type is a smaller data type. The data loss will be basically happen. That is basic. No, that is basically a what explicit downcasting. Similarly, in the sense you can also change from double and DOUBLE double to float, double to float. FLOAT double to float 10.3 F. And this is also an example of a explicit downcasting. And the previous example, float to long data loss were happening. That is also a example of explicit downcasting. This is where data loss of 0.3 is happening in previous. That is also an example for explicit Here the point 3, this is float double. Converting a float value into a long, float is 10.3, converted into a long, it will be written basically 10, and point 0.3 will be lost. This is also example of explicit down casting. Okay. Similarly, data loss might happen on other case as well, like character to integer is auto upcasting, not a character. Let me show you. Converting a character to integer is upcasting, and converting integer to character is a explicit downcasting. Like we have int x equal to 1, 2, 3 is some number, and byte. This is int is of 4, and byte is generally of 2 byte. Byte, byte equal to 3 by 2 typecast into byte and x. Okay. As converting a character to integer is basically a auto upcasting, and converting integer to character is a from integer, and that is a 4 byte, and character is of basically of 2 byte. So for bigger data type to smaller data type 450, it is explicit downcasting, and character to integer, like I am saying, is basically uh, like you have a CHAR character. When you convert from character to integer, basically what will happen? Character is of 2 byte and integer is of 4 byte. This is you here basically up casting is happening. Okay, it is smaller to bigger. But here in case of integer to character, integer is basically of a 4 byte, and character is of basically a 2 byte. So bigger data to is smaller data type is basically explicit downcasting. Here we will have an explicit downcasting will be happen. This point you have to note it down. In interview may ask, so you have to answer. You may be able to answer the question. Now, now we have seen this. Now we will see class class type casting. The class type casting, we have class upcasting and class downcasting. So what happened in class upcasting? Class upcasting, here we create a parent class reference variable, and then we store a child class object address. That is basically a class upcasting. Uh, Let me first go to the this is a class. Okay, let's A is A is a parent class. Okay, and this parent class is have a main method. Okay, this parent class have this main method. Now I what I will do. Okay, class casting or class upcasting. Here we will create a parent class reference variable. Sorry, parent class A1. Okay, A parent class reference variable and stores child class object address. Child class is basically B here. Sorry, child class is C here. C child class object address. And you can print SYSOUT A1. So this is basically a class upcasting. Means in class this is a child class C extending the parent class A. Now in class upcasting, we will create a parent class reference variable and child class object address with the help of new keyword. This is basically called as a class upcasting. Okay, this is a class upcasting. Similarly, we have a class downcasting. In class downcasting, we will have a vice versa here in this. What we will do, we will create a child class reference variable, that is a b1, and parent class object address, parent class object address. This is basically an object address, and we have to typecast also. We have to typecast in this way. We are basically typecasting the b1 equal to b new a. This is a basically a b1. Oh, this is a C. Why will not be? It is a basically a C1 equal to C. Okay, and now we will call C1. Okay. So this is an example of a class downcasting. So in downcasting, we will get reference variable of the child class, that is C1, and parent class object address, and we have to typecast here. Okay, typecast. This is an example of class downcasting. Okay. Now coming to our slide. What is basically inner class, or nest? You can also call as a nested class. A inner class in a Java is a class declared inside the body of the another class. It is associated with an instance of the outer class and can be accessed its all members, including the private one. This basically means if you create a one class A, and then inside that class A, you create one more class B. Okay. So when you create one class inside another class, that is called inner class or nested class. So that child class, that is a class B, can access the variable method of the class A. Okay. So that is basically this English wording is basically saying, okay. So now what we will do, this is basic example like public class. This is a outer class. This is one variable, a string variable message, which is writing hello from outer class. Okay. Now we have created one more class with the class and its name is inner. And we have created one method void display, and it is printing some message. This message it is printing basically means this is basically what it is showing. This inner class can access the variable of the outer class. This is basically it is showing here. Okay, and we have then created a main method inside this outer class body. Okay, and we created object outer class outer equal to new outer, and then we create the one object where outer dot inner class. Inner is the object, outer dot new, then inner class. Okay, creating a inner class object. Then inner dot display, we will display this thing. Let me show you the example. Example will be more clear. Close this. Close this. This is a module. Go to your here. Go to here. Class created outer outer class. Okay, one class is outer, and I will create inside this class, first I will create one variable. The like private private string message 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 अरे यार स्ट्रिंग परिवार भूल जाता हूँ स्ट्रिंग तो मैसेज यस कैपिटल मैसेज इक्वल टू हेलो सुलुलु. Then what I will put it, I will write here this is a inner class. अच्छा हाँ. So like this way we are commenting inside the class. Like in the real project also, you will also when you are creating something, object, anything, then you have to comment so that whenever next developer come, so he can understand what you have basically written. Okay. So everyone writing should be different because there are hundreds and thousands of the method presents, hundreds of ways of doing the same thing. So not everyone can understand what you have written inside of it. Okay, so but with the help of comment, they can understand. Oh, this method is doing this thing. This thing is doing this thing. Okay, like in this way. This is basically here an outer class. Okay, now I will write here a, yeah, this is a in inner class like class INNER class. This is the inner class. Okay, through the name you can understand this is inner class and public void display. It will display something. What it will display? Yes, y also will be. I will call this message message. Message spelling is set. Okay, so message spelling is correct. Now, now what for calling, you have to from the main method create the object and call. So now here I will create a main method in first outer class. Outer outer class CLWS outer equal to new outer class. In this way, we have created a simple object of outer. Now I will create the object of inner class using in the outer class object. Now you have this is basically a object of outer class. So the object of outer class. Now with the help of outer class object, I will we will create a inner class. Okay. So how we will basically do now this now sorry now this is now I will create the object of of inner class with the help of outer class object. Okay. Now like hmm, like outer first outer class name, right? Then dot inner class name, inner class name, inner class name. Okay. Then object INNER inner equal to outer class object OUTER object name is outer dot new. With the help of new keyword, we are creating the object. Now inner class constructor I initialization INNER class. Okay, this is the inner class constructor inner class initialization. Okay. Okay. Now, in this way, we have created outer class dot inner class object is inner equal to outer class object which we have just created outer class dot new and inner class. So this way we have created the inner class object. Now, with the help of object inner dot, you can call the method. Our method name was basically display. Okay. Control plus save and Run, run, run. I will run the method. Hello, Sudulu. So this is basically an example of how we are basically creating a inner and outer class of our classes. So inner class is basically defined inside an outer class. It can be accessed. It can access the private members of outer class. Why I have shown you how it is. It can access inner class. Can access the private members of the outer class. Okay, and you need to create an instance of the outer class first to create the inner class object. So we have created instance means you have to create the object of the outer class first. With the help, then we will write outer class dot in outer class name dot inner class name, then object equal to outer class object dot new, then inner class constructor, and then inner class object dot display to calling or calling any variable. In this way, basically, we have created the outer class. So, okay, okay. Hmm. So this all for this session. Meet you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.
Contact us for the free job assistance. We will help you to get the IT job. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel for more regular updates from TeQSpoc.